Let's see here. All right, what am I looking for? What am I looking for? What am I looking for? Well, PlayStation VR2. I absolutely love. Oh no, it's Alex's new video. It puts everything totally again in perspective towards any Xbox narrative that they want to twist. In response of that they would say the cope that they don't have a answer for it. and and just like my community post, it's not Hebot and Sega Man and E-Rock and Unlimited Production. It's not something they will say or would say. It's something they have said. Everything that the Xbox fanboy tweeted out that, oh no, Alex shot down, and he did successfully shoot down every narrative that was spit. The E-Rock, Sega Man, E-Bot, Unlimited Production has said, and for the PlayStation, the first VR, and it's continuing to say, and odds are, I think the one thing you would think, the one thing to keep them from being a contradiction, especially E-Rock. You think the one narrative that the other Xbox are throwing, but you would think they would stay away from because they killed that narrative. E-Rock himself especially killed that narrative, bringing up the price. Jay, it's so real. How does that kill their narrative of bringing up the price? These are the same people that say This is the same person that says gaming isn't meant to be cheap. That has not only said Xbox but PlayStation 2 as well do not have to make their products affordable. But yet, if you go into their live streams, you'll hear prices being thrown. The same, you can't have it both ways. You can't use the pricing that the competitor throws on something on a product because you can't cope that you have an answer to. Knowing, and I've even spitted this out to them. That if Xbox had a competitive answer to PlayStation's VR, whether it was full VR, full immersion, or half like that HoloLens they had that they announced years ago, if it was half the immersion, like half the not a full product of VR, but just like which probably what the HoloLens was going to be, something that was not full immersive and was less graphics, less content, less games for it, and was more than $300 than the PlayStation VR, they would still not only be pushing the that product for Xbox to be worth the value, but they would also be still trying to say it's better than a PlayStation VR, even if it was underpowered, less, uh, not as immersive, and not as uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Utilized or uh, less games made for it. They would still be pushing it. I hate that shit. It heated the first one perfectly. Yes, there it is. And get this too. I love it. I love it. Not only the person that says price is irrelevant because these companies are not should not be having to make their products affordable to be pro consumer, shouldn't shouldn't be setting a standard of a certain price, but they still highly defend. See, pro consumer, when they're cheap, when they are setting a, a good pro consumer example by making things affordable. But when they raise prices when others are not, it's okay. When they match prices for certain things like game prices, follow suit behind a company doing that, it's okay. But we're still going to, we remember we was criticizing uh, consumers of the other or fan base of the other product, but but it's okay for us. Can't keep that same energy, but these are the same people. E-Rock is the same people, same person that said back when the Connect and the Xbox One always online DRM region locked shit. Um, Connect TV, cable, coax cable going to your fucking console. He's like, you fake Xbox people, you just haters. You're not true Xbox. Xbox was trying to innovate, innovate, innovate. Oh, oh. coax cable going back of a electronic device. Can you picture this? Literally saying this, a coax cable being having a prompt to be able to be hooked up to an electronic device that has Blu-rays, a readable Blu-ray drive. Co- that old thick cord when it has those square prompts where you got to turn, 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 turn. Innovate. Innovate. And just like, oh no, as Alex was saying in that video, the Xbox fanboys are trying to say the real stupid ones at a lower level are trying to say the PlayStation VR is a gimmick. No, he explains what a gimmick is. VR is a niche, not a gimmick. It's a niche. And ironically, the Kinect is actually a gimmick. And here's the big thing. Oh yeah, don't forget it's innovating. Innovating. But VR is not. When Xbox pushes something on you, not giving you the option, selling you the weaker console, no doubt the weaker console, charging $100 more and pushing that additional attachment to that device, forcing you to have it is good, and it should be accepted. But it's a lot more pro-consumer, and it's a lot more acceptable than an optional entry of PlayStation VR. Oh my god! Again, this is why I've literally been thinking about getting a Xbox. I've not only been thinking about getting an Xbox, I've even been pondering trading my PlayStation 5 in and getting an Xbox. I know that would be a huge mistake, not because of what I generally have not been getting Xbox for, but um, in general, it would be a mistake for the simple fact that I can't say with all honesty, that the social media accessibility alone would be uh, uh, um, sat functional to satisfaction to me. I can't say with full honesty that the capture, the the capturing of gameplay, a acceptable length of of a time of video of gameplay capturing would be satisfaction satisfactory to warrant me to switch from PlayStation to Xbox. I know there's a new game coming out. I want to play it. I would like to share the gameplay via capturing the gameplay with a capture card or stream it. I can't say the the Xbox console would provide those features to a fully satisfaction to warrant me swapping my PlayStation 5 to an Xbox. And that is not even considering. That's not even considering. Not even mentioning um, the games. Now, of course, I would have some satisfaction playing Forza. Um, there's no doubt that I probably find a a little bit of joy, satisfaction playing the newest Gears of War. Now, would it be as hyped and as ecstatic intensity of the classic Gears of War? Of course not. The only thing, uh, the only thing good involving the games aspect of me switching is that I will not be missing out on the new Bethesda games like that I love, like uh, the Elder Scrolls, and I've had no, if I forget that's basically it. That's basically it. I can live without Elder Scrolls. Um, and like I said, and I love how too, Alex brought it up as well. He even said the scenario: if you Xbox had a VR and you be pushing it all and you be if Xbox had a VR and PlayStation did, and he says in that video, oh, you be la na 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 na, and it's perfect. It's true. It's true. It's only braggable, or it's only worth anything, or it's only pro consumer if if their preferred um, company has it to be bragged about or um, to be used as ammunition against the competitor fan base. And I also love too that he totally destroys. He totally destroys the pricing outside of the Xbox, just using it as, which they, like I said, they've destroyed it themselves by an individual saying companies doesn't need or isn't shouldn't be expected to meet prices of uh, talking about falling. Being as dumb as being a blacksmith, striking that metal, you, you know, forging that sword. I mean, you ever heard of that saying, falling upon your own sword? Fucking Erock was his own blacksmith forging his own sword so he could fall upon it. And not only fall upon it himself, but also knowing very well that his echo chamber back patters are going to fall upon it too. They're going to fall upon it right behind him. So you can literally paint an image of these motherfuckers. Fall, Erock is first. The sword is, he's like, the sword is stuck straight up. Erock is linked. And it's done skewered him through the chest. And then there's He-Bot right after him. His way on top of him. And he's got his tongue sticking out. And he's skewered. And then there's Sega Man. And these are losers. Plain simple facts. And that, and it's absolutely true. Not only, without mentioning anything about the PlayStation 2 VR, without mentioning anything about it, the improvements or the changes that it's made, just going over still what you have to pay today to get a VR that's on PC. You have to pay more than you would for paying for the PlayStation 5, paying for the PlayStation 2 VR and the game. You'd be paying an exorbitant um, amount more for just the headset alone of the PC's VR, let alone what you'll have to pay for the graphic card that would be required, that you'd have to have a certain powerful graphic card and a PC and all the others, all the other things that's necessary, you would be paying more. Now, let's say this: if Xbox had this to say, according, if the Xbox bots had this to say, um, the PlayStation VR2 addressing the price range that um, that there's that is no, it's not much better than the uh, than the PlayStation VR1, but they can't say that. They can't say that. It's absolutely, completely better. Completely better. I admit, I'm a PlayStation 1 VR owner that's owned one that has said I have enjoyed it, but again, I am not a fanboy. I will speak of the negatives and tell you these negatives have weight to it should be considered to make a negative impact on someone else enjoyment in this product. Like if a game that's supposed to have certain features or that has had special certain features in the past, and now they don't have this feature or it's not ready at launch, I say this is a negative feature that should um, you should be aware of, that you should not only be aware of, it should have an impact on you buying this product. and and you should, and not just not buy it, you should speak up so the next title will not be this way. the the only outcome from the only thing can come from criticism or calling something out. The only thing that could possibly come from it would be something positive from something similar happening again. And that works to improve everybody's experience. But again, I'm I'm not a loser like Ebot, Ebot, and E-Rock, Sega Man, Unlimited Production. The so-called uh, um, what's it? Gaming. What was it? Fucking he bought shit. He always said, uh, what was that fucking shit? He always says gaming. I can't fucking think of that goddamn thing now at all. Gaming, uh, history, gaming, something stupid, gaming. Uh, they're not. They're not about the games. They're not about the culture. That's what he says. He claims to be all about the gaming culture. And the sad thing about the his him and his buddies, anybody with a life, especially if this their fathers and mothers was just as pathetic, as if the apple isn't far from the you know that saying, doesn't far from the tree. Um, they would clearly say, "You're not about the gaming. You're not about gaming. You're not about the you so-called sane culture. You're about the company, and you're all about a company. You're all about uh, fighting against the negative." Uh, fighting against the negative outlook that Xbox does gets because of things they do that they justly deserve to receive the negative spotlight. Now, let's go over. Let's go over the improvements in the PlayStation VR 2 that warrants the increased price. Now, I'm going to choose the most. I could, some aspects you could say it's the smallest because of what it involves, but also is not the smallest. It is the most improved. It is the most improved and was requested to be. It was necessary to be improved. Not only for the price. The price wasn't even there. Product wasn't even there. But when the PlayStation 1 VR was out, what did everybody said had to be improved? What was said that needed to be improved on the next one? The cords. That the cord that goes into the console, one cord that goes into the console goes into this box, and this box has another cord that comes out, goes into another cord, goes into the VR unit. You have like so many cords with additional box hanging out. Boom. PlayStation VR, one cord. One cord. Goes into the console, goes into the headset. One. Sure, we would love to have
Sure, we would love it to be completely wireless. Was was it too much to be expected for it to be completely wireless, with this being only the second version of VR? Some would say yes. Given that this is the second unit of VR from PlayStation, some would say yes. It's possible, yes, with the technology and also the other. Of course, it was possible, but there's no telling how much longer it would took that VR to come out to be made, and also the price would have been up too. Probably more of a. I think in a long run, I think in a long run, this was the better thing to do, making it real less cords, making it only one cord. That way, the third one that comes out will be completely wireless. And this way with this unit, we can be guaranteed to have a better, a more richer, more graphics, more high fidelity textures and visuals of a world that's being created, that we're exploring around us, using the power of the PlayStation, utilizing the power of the PlayStation 5 VA cord. Because if it was wireless, the power maybe down the line when they go wireless, complete wireless, that dongle you hook up to your PlayStation VR that spits, the signals of the PlayStation supporting the VR will be more advanced. So it being not wired, not having no wire, the graphics would not be diminished due to being wireless as bad next generation down. See, I think about shit. Of course, again, I'm not a seething copium loser like we know certain bots. You know, the same the same losers that was trying to debate me, telling me that I didn't have enough experience with Crackdown to give a review on Crackdown 3, to give a opinion out on Crackdown 3. But then again, I tell him that PlayStation VR library, that additional massive library that you get with having a VR unit, that's some are exclusive to PlayStation VR outside from VR itself, but also the simple facts that this gives a whole vast library to PlayStation because they have VR that the competitor don't. And I said, just the titles of VR alone, exclusive to PlayStation or not, are more quality, are more enricher, and more worth than the Xbox's exclusive titles alone, not even needing to count Spider-Man, God of War, Horizon, that someone would more likely be highly more satisfied with the VR titles exclusively alone than the Xbox first party studios. And what did Hebot say? What did Hebot say? No way. Now, what did he say after saying no way to validate that is not possible? What did he introduce? What did he what narrative did Hebot introduce to that argument, to argue against that makes his he didn't introduce nothing, of course. He just said no, no, it's not. Now, the same person that tells me I don't have enough experience with Crackdown titles, or there's no way I can have just a look at the title and look at gameplay and have enough and hear other people's opinion or hear other people's reviews saying this is wrong with this is what's wrong with this, and that them actually showing footage that shows that this is a problem with this does exist, illustrating that this story is kind of dull here. The I can't remember. E-Rock had to shut him up. His own boy, E-Rock, had to shut him up because E-Rock seen E-Rock seen where I was driving this. E-Rock seen where I was driving Hebot, that I was pulling his strings a certain way. Not only I was going to come out the winner, but I was going to have Hebot to condemn E-Rock with his own logic. So not only Hebot was not going to win against me, but Hebot was going to damage E-Rock. So E-Rock had to shut him up because him telling me that I didn't have enough experience, that me playing the first Crackdown, me playing the second Crackdown was not enough experience with that series. E-Rock was like, he's played the first one, he's played the second one. And E-Rock was not too long ago was saying, why does everybody... No, matter of fact, it was in that stream. What am I saying? It was in that stream after I made Hebot rage, cussing, screaming, hollering. Excuse me. Showing off his DVD collection like that meant something. Oh, look, I own this. So that means this product was I own these HD DVDs. That proves that HDVDs was successful because I got it here. I got an HD the player. That proves that I know more about it than you. Who cares if there's no more movies being made on it no more? Then turn around and say, yeah, the Blu-rays do have more space, and then but what did E-Rock say after after E-Rock's rage and fit tantrum tantrum. I couldn't even get that one out without laughing. You puppets. Tantrum. But you puppets are gullible. After his tantrum, what did E-Rock say? I'm so sick and tired of people saying you gotta play certain games. You got to play every game in the book. This is how easy I could turn. See, this is how easy I could turn shit around. Playing the first one, or he thought I didn't play the first one. He thought I didn't play the second one. And the whole narrative. Also, that first initial video I made about Hebot, where he said, you can't just play games you like. You can't just play. You can't just play these AAA big story narrative driven games. You can't play these. You and then on And then he goes, and after he calms down, he agrees with fucking E-Rock. Yeah, I'm so sick of these people saying you've got to play this exorbitant amount of games and to make it valid that you're a gamer, or or you care about this certain, you care about gaming in general, you have to play this amount of games, while he's talking with someone that draws lines himself. You're talking about people creating goals, or creating qualifications for you to be a part of something, talking with a motherfucker that does it himself. And not only does it to, he doesn't do it. He doesn't do it. Create those bars of qualifications just because he really wants people to be a gamer. That wasn't his whole reasoning of making that video or talking that way or bringing up saying people you can't just play fucking AAA games. You can't just play fucking big story narrative driven games. You can't play high graphical fidelity games. He was creating that goalpost out of his own insecurities. He was creating that qualification out of copium to cope of what he's missing out on. Spider-Man and Wolverine. Again, or otherwise those games wouldn't even be mentioned. The simple fact that that video, that narrative was created shortly after the announcement of Wolverine being made by Insomniac exclusively for PlayStation. Of course, it would be made exclusively for PlayStation because what is Insomniac? A purchased studio that Microsoft could have gotten themselves or could have further worked with them on a specific title that they made for Xbox, but didn't even care to list them for a sequel. They showed them the door and said, "Don't call us, we'll call you." The company even was hearing what the company, the game studio was even listening to tweets and interact with tweets of fans of that game, Sunset Overdrive. And I have said I don't believe Sunset Overdrive is like a game, a award-winning game, but I don't have no doubt that it was a fun game. It might have been just a little bit above mediocre, maybe a 6, maybe a 5, but it might have been somewhere in between. And I did have anticipation for it when I had an Xbox One. I was wanting to play it. But here's the thing, and which certain bots can't accept. It was not it didn't have the popularity or it's not going to have the popularity and drive
the desire of fucking Spider-Man and Wolverine. And they knowed, Ebot knowed from the aspect of what Insomniac did with that game Sunset Overdrive, the city, the skating on the character sliding on the power lines, the sliding on the bars, and the way you move, the way you traverse the city fighting these monsters. When Spider-Man was announced, they knew, Hebot knew, Hebot knew it was going to be big. Hebot knew, even if Sony didn't have some sort of rights over the Spider-Man, or due to them having an industry of Sony Studios, an involvement of movie making. He knew, even if some other game developer made a Spider-Man game for Xbox, it would not be able to compete with Insomniac and what they just demonstrated with Sunset Overdrive. Hebot knew. He knew. And that's also one of the reasons why that debate with us, between us, the only negative shine he could put on the Spider-Man games from PlayStation, it's not even it's not even a negative. It's a positive. That's how stupid and retarded he is. He thought that he had a winning argument that, oh look, they copied this from this Spider-Man game from years ago. A game that he says was a great game. So how could that be negative? How can that be negative? Them taking something that was, you say, was a part of a great game and utilizing it. I think people applaud that kind of action. I think people not only applaud that kind of action, I think they encourage that kind of action because it gives respect. It gives respect to the game creators of that old title. And it says, y'all did something great. We acknowledge that, and we're adopting it in our game. But again, this is a copium, flat out loser that's got to throw shade in some sort of shape or some sort of manner because of what he is choosing to miss out on, because he can't stand his preferred platform doesn't have it. And it's not that it's not because he really wants to play it himself. It's because he doesn't have it as ammunition. That's the biggest part about it. It's not even that he doesn't got the game to play for himself on his preferred platform. It's the fact that it's not an ammunition that he believes he should have rightfully himself, and not only to himself but to use against, because we all know, just like what if it was an Xbox, if Xbox had Sony is corrupt. They signed deals. If it was the other way around, if it was the other way around, and Microsoft giving all their money, had their own movie license where they can have a little bit more influence with the involvement of certain characters within movies, and Microsoft purchased some sort of additional rights where they had the copyright of this certain character, and they would also purchase a studio that would be absolutely perfect to make games of that character, it would be perfectly fine. It would be perfectly fine. And especially, they have the money to do that. They have more money to do that than Sony. Now see, that's money don't purchase everything. Being in the game longer, branching out beyond gaming, get you more rep, get you more to where you are able to have and get more. Being in the game longer and branching out beyond. Having ties and pulls somewhere else. But I've I've completely went off track of the narrative of the video, but then again, that was all intentional anyways. Of course, the puppets are gonna say, "No, it wasn't intentional. You're just dancing, puppet. You just dancing." No, it wasn't the simple fact that I've made a community post addressing certain individuals with a post. And then all it said to me, making launching a live stream talking about it couldn't have been a clue. It couldn't have been a clue. But again, the puppets, they got it. Just like he bought, they got they got to find that shade, even if they're creating it themselves and it's not true. They got to find, they got to throw it. But let's go back to the improvements. So that right there, the simple facts that it's a chord, one minor chord that's more than likely going to be connected to your front of your PlayStation. They probably going to have some way where there will be straps where you won't be tripping over it. It'll probably connect to a something you put on one of your belt or something, and it will hang to your side and then it will pick up any slack, and it will have enough slack to where you can move around, twist and turn, because that's really all you do in VR. You're not supposed to step forward. You're not supposed to step back. You're not supposed to turn. That's it. You're supposed to turn like this at times. Maybe more or less just this. And that's it. So that alone is worth the increased price. because that is what we asked for. The that is what, and get this, this is what we asked for from a product that wasn't pushed upon us. When we have a product pushed upon us, we don't want nothing. We don't ask for no features, certain features for it to have. We don't ask for it to be supported by content, for it to be content to be made for it to be utilized. We totally reject it, and it's not innovation if it's forced. So that's the difference. When we're given the option to buy something, if we see enjoyment from it, we will buy it. And then we will speak our voices on how to improve it. Xbots justify products being pushed upon them, rationalizes it when it's proven to not be supported. I'm fucking destroying Ebot and E-Rock right now and saying that so bad. Oh man. So again, that is 100% justified on the price increase. Now, this was also mentioned, given with the first PlayStation VR. Those red and blue dildos. You see, I can mock. See, I'm not a fanboy. I can mock. Do the mocking of PlayStation products. I'm not emotionally invested in them. What I'm invested in is what I pay for and what I look for from it. Entertainment. For my enjoyment. I don't look to support something because I want validation. That's E-Rock. That's Hebot. That's Sega Man. And again, that proves that they're not about no gaming and heritage or what. I can't remember it again. They're not about gaming. They're not about the culture. There it is. They're not about that. They're out for validation. They're out for justification. They're out to be validated with their preference. They just want to feel like they're a part of something that makes them important. They are the typical stereotype that's everything that brings out nothing but the worst, that paints the image, the most worstest image that anybody can take from someone being a gamer. That's what's giving us gamers, true gamers, that's out to just enjoy the game, that's not worried about the company that manufactures the console it's played for. They they are the bad demonstration. They are the bad illustration. They are they are the ones that's on the gaming streets that makes it a bad rap. 100% unlimited fact. Unlimited. And oh, it's so fucking funny. Man. So back to those red and blue dildos. Boom, 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 boom. Those were awful. Those were a god awful choice to use in the PlayStation VR. It was uh, troublesome to remember the pattern of buttons. It was it was a it was what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of it. I can't think of it, but either way, it it was cumbersome. Yeah, cumbersome to figure out. There was the middle button, and there was four buttons around, small little thin buttons. Some of the one button would turn you this way on one of the sticks. One would turn you this way. One would walk you forward. One would walk you back. One would tilt you looking up. One would tilt you looking down. Unless if it fully functional, the headset where you look up and down. The and then some games will have totally different maneuvers. I think all the games where it had to look up. So forget about the tilting. But the turning, the walking forward and walking backwards was absolute. And like I said, some games had it different. Some games had it good. So yes, the cord was good enough for the price, and now we have what we've always been asking for, the VR. We was hoping that they would come out with the controllers, acceptable controllers, during the PlayStation 1's life. I mean, PlayStation VR's first VR's life. But now we got them. We have these fully functional analogs, where we could, just like we was playing a first person shooter, we could aim, we can use our heads also to make the additional aim, and we got triggers, we got really functional bumpers and triggers. Boom, boom, wireless wireless, where we don't have to have these red and blue lights for the camera to see. We don't have to worry about turning around and the camera not seeing these colors anymore. And so losing track of where we have our guns in the VR world. And because they don't have lights on them that needs to be picked up by a camera. We don't need a camera at all. We don't need a camera at all. We don't need a camera at all. The helmet has senses where the controllers are. The also I believe the four cameras on the headset sees them in front of us, but more or less I think it has a detection that knows where it even the controllers even has senses to be able to tell our hands are inside the controller holding in where we don't even have to push the button, but it knows where our fingers are right amongst the buttons. It's improvement. That again right there, there's just counting that. I would pay more. I'd be willing to pay more. I would be willing to pay, which I am not asking. I would never ask or accept paying more, especially unlike Xbox that says you should be accepting to pay more, not only doing yourself a discredit, but also forcing doing a discredit to your fellow gamers, contributing a an notion that discredits does discredits not discredits but hinders your fellow gamer. I thought you was the true gamers. I thought you was out for your fellow gamers, for their improvement, for their positive. No, you're not. You're all out again. You're all about fighting that good fight of that negative publicity that Microsoft justly deserves because they bring it upon themselves for the bad moves that they make. You're all about that keeping that positive thought about your choice and your preference. You're all about keeping that as a positive look by any means possible. No matter if you're doing yourself a disjustice, no matter if you're causing a disjustice for your fellow gamers, you're all about the outlook. You're not about the games. You're not all about the culture. You're all about your emotional state. That's what you're all about. Your emotional state. Because you're a fucking loser. So, cord, greatly improved. Controllers, exorbitant, exorbitant improvement. Now, let's say that's it. Let's say that's it. And walk away. That's a win. That right there is one of them is a kill shot to be enough positive, um, enough of a positive for a person that has never purchased, let's say has never purchased the first VR, let alone someone that has purchased the first one, would definitely buy the second one because they know the conditions and the limitations and the negative stuff that the first one had. But still, it sold well and it was great and it was supported. It was support unlike a certain camera that looks at you and spied on you, recorded you without your knowledge, and was was distributed through the internet. A product you remember that was forced upon you, forced you to pay more for a weaker product because of that product was forced upon you. That ultimately wasn't supported, that was soon as it was taken out of the box. If it was a just product, if it was, if it was, what did Ross say? Um, if it was a advancement, or what was it? I can't remember. If it was, it would have been supported the product in the box or out of the box. Microsoft said, well, all right, we'll take it out of the box. We'll drop the price. We'll take it out of the box. We'll sell it separately. But we're going to prove to you that we had full intentions of, when we still got full intentions because we made this product. We can still sell this product if we support it. Did did they do it? No. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. So this wait a minute. Oh, I forgot something. The controllers. No, let's go back to the controllers because I forgot a simple something. I forgot a simple something. The controllers has new features that other VRs don't have. It has the new features that the PlayStation 5 controller has. It has those sensitive triggers that you're even more so that is going to enrich the experience and make the experience more um, immersive. Pulling a bow, pulling that trigger, and then feeling the tension. If you're playing the new Horizon, whatever game it is on VR, I can't remember. Call the Mountain, I can't remember. But pull that bow and pull that trigger. You're probably going to be going like this with those controllers. You probably go like this, and you're pulling down on the controller, and you could probably release. As soon as you release the can you imagine that going like this with that control with those VRs, and that like you pulling out like you're really aiming a VR, and then you're also pulling down on the sensitive
intense, the shock control. Again, worth the price. Worth the price. Now, this, now, like I said, walk away. That two, just one of them, but there's two. One of them would just be good enough to pay the price. But there's two. Is there any more? Also, like we mentioned, what they're asking for is still cheaper, even if you buy the PlayStation 5, PlayStation VR2, and a game. It's cheaper than any of the VRs out there for the PC. So that's actually three. Is there anything else? Yes, there is something else. Yes, there is something else. Amazingly, there is something else. Um, the VR itself has new technology, advanced technology that's going to make the experience better, visually, more comfortably, visually and more comfortably, due to certain new technology that involves the eye that none of the other VRs have. That makes this unit should cost more because it's new technology. It's a technology that the other VRs are going to adapt, that they're going to adapt later on, that we're going to have first with this new VR. Would that also would that make the price more valid? Yes. Matter of fact, you think with something like that that's making the VR more technology capable that other VRs are going to adopt later down the line, you think that would push the price more than those because it has something more that these don't have. You think that would make it cost more, but yet it still costs less. But is that it? Is that it? Is that the limitations? No, there's more. There's more. It also has functions that the other VRs don't have. It has some sort of feature with pulses that has you feel certain things, like certain things happening in the game, like maybe you get punched. It'll have you're playing a boxing game and you're getting punched in a game, and it'll have like a rumble feature or a pulse feature, like you're taking the blow. It ain't gonna hit and give you like you're getting really punched, but just like it's gonna have something that makes it more immersive, makes it more real. It makes you feel like you more inside this world. Is that enough to make the price more valid? Yes. How many do I need to come up with? How many more do I need to say to make, to make the how much is the unit costing more really than a previous VR? How much really? Is it costing where you're basically buying 5 PlayStation VR? I mean PlayStation 5s that that what you pay for the VR just alone is this equivalent of buying 5 PlayStation 5s? I mean 2 PlayStation 5s? No. If it was that, I would have a gripe. I would have a a voice speaking negative. Is it um enough where you're basically buying a PlayStation 5 and half the additional cost of another one? I'm talking about the price. Um, if it's just one, basically what people are saying, it's $1,000, but you're getting a game too. That's considering both of those controllers. I see. My worst fear was my worst fear was that, which I was like, God, please don't let it be that it was only going to come with one of those controllers. That it was only going to come with one, and you had to pay for an additional one. I would actually predict Sony being anti-consumer. Oh, I could say it. Sony could be an anti-consumer, just like it's obvious that Microsoft can be anti-consumer. But oh no, bots can't say that, and neither can Sony fanboys say that. But I'm not a fanboy. See, Xbots, Ebot, E-Rock, Sega Man, Unlimited Production can talk about all the Sony fanboys they want. But here's the thing: they can't talk about them and not consider them and not be totally delusional thinking that they're just the same equal losers just on the other side of the fence. They they are just on the other side of the fence. They are just as bad. And here's the thing: they are just as bad, but they're also can't stand it that they are on the losing side. Absolutely. Even if it was the scenario was turned around, the mediocre games were on PlayStation, and the award-winning games were on Xbox, and Xbox didn't have Game Pass, but Sony had this service like Game Pass, and that's all they had to bring to say, "Oh, Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass." Xbox would be like, oh, you're obviously losing because you can't bring up anything that's nothing but a fucking service game for older titles and multiplats. You have nothing else to brag about beyond an online library of older titles, older glory, older glory.
and multiplats. You have nothing else. They would literally be spitting that if it was the other way around. Here's the fact that that's them, because not only they have only older glory to talk about, to boast about. Their the games they do get are mediocre. The titles they older glory sequels they get is not as good as they used to be. And here's the thing, none of them are fully functional working products at 97% of the time, let alone being full products. I mean, if it was just mediocre games, that would be one thing. But over 90% of the time, they are they're non-functional products. They're glitchy, buggy messes. Let alone hollow experiences. Fact. But well, I got a phone call. I got to return. I'm going to be watching the Elimination Chamber today. Going to have friends, family over. Join the pay-per-view. I believe Sami Zayn is going to fail, but I'm hoping for a surprise. I'm hoping for a surprise. And I'm going to see if it happens. I need now, you puppets, do as I know you're going to do. Dance for me. For this video, make Hebot, E-Rock, Sega Man 101 unlimited production, aware of how much I destroyed them by simply saying that I was dancing for them, because we all know you're going to do so. Oh no, it's me. I know you're going to do so, because you're actually one dancing. And I know, and anybody with life would know the simple facts that you go to tell them about it, to say that I'm dancing for them is actually the fact that you go to do so, even though I called you out that you're going to do so, especially that I called you out that you're going to do so, is evident right along that none of these statements I've made can be successfully argued against by them. And or when you notify them, request them to challenge these arguments. Challenge them to accept the challenge to challenge these statements I made and prove them incorrect. And if they don't do so, your beliefs should be just as the same as if I didn't reply. If they was talking about me and they issued a challenge to me, you would, and I failed to do so, you would say it's because I can't and that I have obviously lost. Keep that same energy. Don't contradict yourself. Don't come off backwards as 100% you do. Yield to my will, you puppets. Now that's so real.